All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully everyone can hear me. If you can hear me pretty good, give me a thumbs up and we'll get moving here. You hear me all right there, Kathy? All right, wonderful. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition meeting, a monthly meeting. My name is Willie Lightfoot, City Councilman at Large, and also the coordinator of the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition. I'll just go around our table real quickly, introduce each other. I want to apologize for last month's mishap. We did not have a meeting last month due to a holiday that we had. We were not aware that we were recognizing that holiday that particular day. The county was open, but City Hall was closed. So unfortunately, we were unable to meet last month, but nonetheless, it gave us some opportunity to get our stuff together for more to share with you on this month. And we are grateful for everyone. So we're gonna just go around the table, introduce ourselves, and then hopefully you'll see the agenda in your chat. We'll go through our agenda and continue with our meeting. We pray that everyone is doing well and your families are doing well. And typically before we do go around the room, we typically have a moment of silence, recognizing all of the victims of violence up until this point in time and the families that have been impacted by violence. And also specifically, I want us to keep in prayer and to be thinking about the 3 ladies that were in that concert and that were killed at that concert, trampled to death. We want to keep them and our families. Buffalo, Syracuse, and Rochester, this region has been impacted in a very traumatic way. And we want to make sure that we just keep those families in our prayers. So we're going to ask if you would, please, sir, please, ma'am, if you would just join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll go around the room and start to my right.
Miguel Melendez, City Council President.
Louis Aponte, AMR.
All right, and we'll look at our Hollywood squares, and the first one we have up is Leslie.
Hi, Leslie Gordon Ogden, City of Rochester Crisis Team.
Welcome. Ms. Williams.
Good evening, Aaliyah Hinton Williams, Crisis Intervention Services Unit for the City of Rochester.
Good evening, Andre.
Good evening, Andre Gully, Councilman Lightfoot, Legislative Aide and Lead Assistant for Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition.
Kathy. Welcome, Andre.
Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm a volunteer for the Rochester Coalition Against Gun Violence under the direction of Mr. Willie Lightfoot. And I feel very privileged to be here. I also volunteer for Brady United Against Gun Violence.
Welcome. Captain Mura.
Mark Muir, Rochester Police Department's Community Affairs Bureau.
All right, for those of you just joining us, we're doing introductions. I may call your name or just introduce yourself and who you're with. Anthony Hall.
Office of Violence and Prevention, Pathways to Peace.
Welcome. Wanda Ridgway.
Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Wanda Ridgway, Rise Up Rochester.
Lovely Warren.
Lovely Warren W. Sweet NY, Community Engagement Specialist.
Welcome. All right. Did I miss anyone? Hopefully not. Does everyone see the agenda in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone not have the agenda in the chat? I know sometimes when you just log on, you may not have the agenda. You don't have it, Wanda and Anthony? Do you have the agenda in the chat? You do? Wanda, you don't? Okay, hold on. Let me, what about now, Wanda? Good? Okay, great. All right, so typically what we do is that we go right down our list here. And next thing we have up is the RPD update.
All right, thank you, Councilman. I'll just run right through the numbers like I do every month. So to date, so far this year, as of 3 days ago, we had nine homicides, unfortunately. 24 shooting victims. The median age of the victims is 24 years old. shot spotter alerts that we've had this year. I'm going to compare this year with the last 2 years. So in 2021, in January, we had 156. February, we had 133. Compared to this year, we had 128 in January, 147 in February. So far this year, out of the 147 shot spotter activations, we've had 371 rounds accounted for. Again, that's just where our shot spotter microphones pick those up. So there could be more, but that's what we have right now on hand. As far as firearms taken off the streets, in February, we had 47 total firearms taken off the streets, 34 handguns, 13 long guns. Of those handguns, 4 of those were considered ghost guns, privately manufactured out of pieces of firearms from different venues or manufacturers. Let's see. So far to date, there's 120 total illegal guns taken off the street, 65 handguns, 55 long guns. So that's what I have for stats. I was able to get some trace data, but I see on the agenda that's a little bit further down. So unless there's any questions, I can defer for a little bit.
No, Captain Murray, we can move that up in the agenda. The gun trace data report, do you have any updates on that?
I do actually. I'll just read through what I have. I was able to dig it up last minute, so I'm going to read what I have to you that I was able to put together that I think makes sense for this group, and I can get more later.
No. Just to make sure that we're clear on the type of update I'm looking for. So the city of Rochester entered into an agreement with Brady to do a gun trace data report, okay, under the previous administration, which happens to be, we actually happen to have former Mayor Lovely Warren with us, who we entered that agreement under her administration. Since then, we have had a recommitment from the current administration, Mayor Malik Evans, and we've had Brady have come on board to work with Nick Petiti and RPD to create that gun trace data report that we're looking to launch sometime this summer. So that's the update that I'm actually referring to.
Okay, I copy that. I did not speak with Nick Petiti today.
Okay.
I will email you what he has tomorrow to the entire group.
Okay.
I do have some data if you'd like me to read it off, but it may not be what you're looking for. So if you'd prefer, I can just give you what Nick has tomorrow in its entirety.
Yes, that would be fine. If you just give us what he has in entirety, because the update that I have to the group is that my understanding is that Brady, there was a person that was hired through RPD. That person was hired to take some of the data that was kind of recorded via paper, and they were working to transpose that data into electronically. And from my understanding, all of that data has been transferred to Brady. Now, Brady is working on actually compiling that data and creating and working on the actual gun trace data report for Rochester, similar to what they have done in Pennsylvania and in Chicago. We're looking to have a similar gun trace data report that is very public facing to the public, that can answer the decade-old question of where are these guns coming from and how can we trace them from gun to crime, so to speak, is what we're looking to have as some of the other states that I've just referenced, Chicago and Pennsylvania. And Brady is doing this for us. And we had them a few months back, we had them come in and do kind of a presentation to our group. For those who may be listening via YouTube or who may view this on Facebook later, you can go back in the timeline and you can actually see that conversation in that meeting that we had with Brady National. And I want to bring it to people's attention to remind them that also Brady is doing this work for us, for the city of Rochester, for free. at no cost, no taxpayer dollars whatsoever is being spent to produce this gun trace data report that we believe will be extremely groundbreaking and transformational to the work of strategizing around how do we do strategies for our people on the ground, the Wander Ridgeways, the Anthony Halls, the police department, the different various agencies that work within this space. This report will be very instrumental in helping us strategize, as well as council and government, as to how we're spending our dollars, how we're legislating, whether our state legislature, our county legislature, our federal, as well as our local government, how we should be legislating as a result in regards to the information that we receive from a very detailed, comprehensive data report. Now, I know Kathy, you can jump in anytime you want, because I know you have a lot of information concerning, you've been very instrumental on us pushing for this gun trace data report. And I want to thank former Mayor Lovey Warren as well for kind of initiating this whole process with Brady, and that we've been forging along. We haven't given up the work. We're still moving ahead now. And I want to thank the current administration for, as well as President Melendez and council, for supporting this work, because this is very, very, and we believe it's very priority and very critical work that we need to do here locally.
Councilman, I actually have, that's a very comprehensive report that you just put out about what the report is going to be, and you're 100% accurate. I do have a little bit of information. So the time to crime, which is what you're talking about, from when a gun is purchased legally to when it is actually used in a crime, of the 577 firearms taken off the street last year, 138 of those firearms had a time to crime of 730 days or less. So approximately 2 years, maybe a little bit less than that, before the gun was purchased legally and then used in a crime. Some were actually utilized within 1 day, surprisingly enough. Others, 29,000 days. So 81 years or something along those lines. So what I can tell you, without getting into too far off into the weeds, without sending the entire report to the group, is that the majority of our illegal firearms that are transferred into Rochester are coming from Georgia and Ohio. The vast majority, and it'll all be in the report that I emailed to you tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank you, Captain Muir. Does anybody have any questions for Captain Muir? Kathy, unmute, please.
Hi, Captain Muir. Thank you so much for that report. And thank you, Councilman Lightfoot, for that excellent summation of where we're at and what the gun trace report, how the framework within which it's operating, that it's a memorandum of understanding between city government and Brady, and that we need the critical role that our police department, and specifically Mr. Petetti plays in informing us about where we stand with regard to that report, and Captain Muir, of course, and his role in informing us. So I'm grateful for that report that you just gave us. I just have a quick question. Thank you for sharing with us where the majority of the supply source in this up-to-date point tells you where the crime guns are coming from. In other words, at this point in time, it appears the majority are coming from Georgia and Ohio. I was wondering if you could tell us what percentage are being supplied by New York State gun dealers. Have any of those dealers been inspected? Is our new New York State Gun Dealers Code of Conduct law being enforced by New York State Police in cooperation with the City of Rochester Police?
Well, I will get that information for you, Kathy. I don't have that right in front of me, but I will get that. I'll make sure it's part of the report.
Thank you.
You got it.
That is something else. Thank you, Captain. Does anybody else have any questions for Captain Muir? If not, I also want to speak to the fact that that new gun dealers code of conduct that was passed by the state legislature. We are working currently now with our state delegates. We're trying to find someone that can come and present to this group around all of the nuances about enforcement to the new New York State gun trace data or gun dealers code of conduct. So we're working with our current delegation, state delegation, to try to get someone to come in and to present to us around all of the particulars of that, because we've been hearing about this. We know that it's passed. We're trying to even see if we can get the maker of the bill, his staff, to present to us at one of our next meeting, our up and coming meetings. And so we know we have a lot of questions around that, and we want to try to answer those questions for the public, and especially when in regards to enforcement. So at this, yeah, go ahead, Kathy, go ahead.
And just tagging on to you, Councilman Lightfoot, I was able, after a very long time, and understandably, I'd like to preface this by just quickly saying, New York State just hired, within recent months, a new superintendent of police. And so that superintendent understandably needed time to get himself set up, and that is Superintendent Negrelli. I'd like to encourage everybody to go to his website. It's excellent. He's actually has an alert up on his website addressed to gun dealers that says, gun dealers, you must be in compliance with a new law that requires that you train your staff, and then he gives them compliance dates. So this is a big shout out to the New York State Police, New York State Superintendent Negrelli, and also to Officer Kinzik, I think his name is, or Sergeant Kinzik. I was able to connect with him. Councilman Lightfoot, I did forward an email to you that includes Sergeant Kinzik. And in that email, Kinzel is his name, Sergeant Kinzel. And in that email, he asked me to articulate what it is we're looking for. And I did that, and I'm hoping that we'll hear back from that person from the New York State Police concerning how they are implementing the law. Are the gun dealers, have the top 10 gun dealers who supply crime guns to Rochester, have they been identified? Where are they operating from? Have you inspected them yet? Have any infractions been found in your inspections? What about the records that the new law calls for? Are the dealers who are supplying crime guns to our street in compliance with the new mandate under the new law? So, we have a lot of questions. I expressed that to Sergeant Kinzel. He was very, very helpful. I apologize it took me so long to negotiate my way through the system to figure out who do I need to talk to about this, because I kept getting, switched from one person to the next. And understandably, this is something brand new. It's going to require new regulations. And it's a big deal, as you said, Councilman, and we're proud of the role that the Rochester Coalition Against Gun Violence played. And all our advocates, Miss Ridgway is one of them, in advocating for this new law. So that's what I have to report about that. We're waiting to hear back from Officer Sergeant Kinzel from the New York State Police. And they are going to, be working with presenting something for us. And I'll keep you posted.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. We've been talking about this like forever. This will be an exciting year for the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition and all of our partners, because of the gun trace data report, the work that's happening around enforcement of the gun dealers code of conduct, and all of the work that various partners are doing this year, especially since we're fully back outside now. I believe that there's a lot of great things that our partners are doing as we move forward this year. So I'm excited about this year, and I'm excited about some of the work that we're going to be doing. I want to give an opportunity. I don't see Vic on here, but is someone in here for Vic or for the mayor's office? I know we're going to get to Miss Aaliyah Hinton in a minute, but I just okay.
Anthony.
Okay, Anthony. Yes, sir. You want to give an update on some of the work you guys are doing?
Definitely. As you all may know, the 20 Rochester Peace Collective participants have all passed council and gearing up to start. Many of those initiatives and programs are directly to impact violence in this space as well as reentry. We know that a lot of individuals coming home from incarceration or detention, there are huge barriers. So many of these initiatives will impact those barriers. Also, out of the Office of Violence Prevention, we are gearing up to host a job fair for unions across the county, Carpenters Union, Electric Union, Mason Union, and our office will be paying for certificates as well as licenses for individuals. So that's something we're excited for as a whole office. We have expanded. Once again, I just met with Rochester City School District to meet about a contract to expand from 9 seasonal workers, school-based intervention specialists to 15 within RCSD to be trained in de-escalation, mediation, and restorative practices. We also, back in February, we launched our Pathways of Peace mobile app. This app was created to ensure more engagement time for the staffer. So the staffer can get referrals right on their iPhone now, as well as do case management right from the iPhone and implement any numbers. Also for front facing in April for front facing, so you all can be able to access our numbers. That will be launching those numbers or KPIs on the app will be referrals, interventions, number of outreaches, and where geographically where they're located, as well as responding if we respond for RPD or a hospital response or a school-based response. Also out of the office, the advanced piece is winding down with their first cohort of individuals. They have a graduation coming up in April. They are going next week to their second restorative travel. This travel is very important because most of the fellows come from different rival groups or gangs within the 10th Ward, and they're building relationships with each other and going out of town to get a better understanding and what life is. Some of these guys never got on a plane or had a license or an ID, so we're able to do all that in-house. I brung the county clerk's office mobile DMV, the 57 St. Paul, to make sure the demographic we serve have direct access to getting IDs and so on, as well as once a month for the past year out of our office, particularly Pathways to Peace, we have done job fairs, small job fairs. Last month we did our job fair. We had 120 individuals sign in. We had 70 get hire letters on the spot. Out of that 70, 30 got hired. So what I've asked as support from employers to be a part of this job fair is to make sure that if they're able to sign on and hire 5 individuals on the spot. So the employers that we have that been a part of this job fair range from tech to restaurant to retail, Walmart, Chick-fil-A, Spectrum, RG&E, the hospital. So it's been a very unique group of employers, but they all have committed to hire 5 individuals on the spot, at least 5 individuals on the spot. So it's been working. So we've been getting people employed. It's very important for us to reduce the violence. Also, Yes,
No,
go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, Mr. Hall, for the construction piece, is MAP involved in that?
MAP is involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good news. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what we're doing now, as we collab with different agencies and entities, we've met with, I met last week with the entire family court circuit for the county to bridge the gap, to get a better understanding of adolescents and resources and referrals, so that our office can aid in the efforts of recidivism. Many of these kids, particularly those who are, if you will, the Kia boys engaged in high car thefts, are released to their parents, and those services are provided. We want to make sure upon release that a referral is placed in the pathways so that we can aid and support and start a succession plan for the individuals.
So, Mr. Hall, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of great things. A couple of things that I'd like for you to tell our listeners. The app, how does one engage in receiving that app? Is that for the general public or is that for staff?
So currently it's just for staff.
Okay, I got you.
In April, hopefully, because you know, the city has to buy rights and all this type of stuff. So hopefully by April, for front facing, meaning general public, they'll be able to access the app right on the city's website.
Okay, all right. How does one connect? What is the general number for Pathways of Peace? How does one connect with you guys?
So it's 428 SAFE.
Okay.
That is 428-7334.
Okay.
And then 585, you can text or call 585-314-8666.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Kathy, anybody have any questions for Mr. Hall?
Awesome job, Mr. Hall. Thank you for your advocacy and all the work that you're doing in the community. I wanted to make sure you're aware. There is a new piece of legislation. I'm hoping that we can team up with you and your team and any folks from Pathways, as well as any clergy or any other concerned citizens, to advocate for a new law that will directly impact you, Rise Up Rochester, Rock the Peace, Clergy on Patrol, any CVI programs. It's a bill, I'll give you the number, S as in Sam 580, A as in Apple 2893. And this is a bill that will ensure that Medicaid beneficiaries who receive medical treatment for an injury resulting from an act of community violence have access to community violence prevention services, so long as they have a referral from a licensed healthcare professional or social worker. And it goes into more detail. I'll be in touch with you about that. I'll use your phone number, but that's an important bill because it's going to provide you with urgently needed funding that you need and that you can utilize to advocate for crime gun victims.
Thank you, Kathy. That's very helpful. Once again, that bill was S as in Sam 580, A as in Apple 2893.
Yes.
So we want to make sure we pay attention to that. Whatever we can do, Kathy, from our advocacy arm of the Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition. I also want to encourage, before we bring on Ms. Aaliyah, I want to encourage our partners that are with us or those that may be listening. The Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition table, of course, is open to anyone with like-minded who interest of eliminating, educating, eradicating against gun violence and violence within our community. We meet here at City Hall. We have 3 doors open to this meeting, Zoom, YouTube, and in person at City Council Chambers, 6 p.m. every second Monday of every month, unless, of course, there's a holiday. We'll be here every second Monday at 6 p.m. And typically, if you just email or call our office, 428-6554, or contact Andre.gully@cityofrochester.gov, who is my legislative aide. Andre, ANDRE.gully, GULLEY, at cityofrochester.gov. I want to encourage our partners to also send events that you're doing. Anything that you're doing. I heard there's a graduation coming up. I know Wanda has a lot of events and things that she's involved with. Please send that information over to Andre. We have a pretty extensive email list so that we can get that information out to our other partners. If you're having events this year, we'd like to coordinate our events this year to make sure we're not overlapping each other. So we're not having events at the same time. We just have a total health and wellness calendar that we're getting ready to put out pretty soon. We're having fairs that we have in May, July, and August. I'll make sure that those dates are sent out to everyone so again, as we put our calendar, as like we used to do before the pandemic, we used to coordinate and collaborate together to make sure that we're not having events at the same time so that we can all support each other at our events and be supportive and not be competitive when it comes to our events. So I'm asking you, whatever events that you're planning for 2023, please, if you're able to share those with Andre so that we can begin to populate a 2023 calendar for the rest of our, especially as spring and summer gets ready to approach, and we all are getting real busy with our events. We want to make sure that we be intentional about making sure that we're collaborative and we're supportive of one another, because that's what it's going to take in order for us to really combat all of this violence in our communities, for us to be working together. So I want to go to Ms. Aaliyah Hinton Williams, and then I'll give space for Wanda. I'll give my report, and then we'll take, if Kathy, if you have any more, we'll share with you, and then we'll move on. So Ms. Aaliyah, thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Councilman. So regarding Crisis Intervention Services Unit and the Person in Crisis PIC team, we are still partnering with the Rochester Police Department and several other organizations and agencies in the community with the homeless outreach team. We participate in that team every Thursday, and we provide outreach to the homeless population in our community to offer them services and to make sure that any needs that they may have an opportunity to be met. And so we do send team.
Is that something new, Ms. Aaliyah? That's like, I've never heard you talk about the homeless population before. Are you sneaking in some new stuff on us or what? Come on, is this exclusive?
No, it's not exclusive. The PIC team responds to about 11 different types of calls now.
Okay.
So we have expanded from the initial 3 mental health calls to everything from mental and behavioral health to homelessness, domestic violence, substance use, youth and family related. We have a partnership with the Rochester Fire Department for fatalities. We respond to death in the home. We have many different call types that we respond to. And when the police department and Captain Person started the homeless outreach team, they reached out to the PIC team and asked us to partner with them to ensure that the right service providers are present when this outreach is occurring. And so the PIC team was asked to participate in that. And no, it's been going on now for probably about 5-6 months now.
Okay.
So I participate on the planning team, and then we have a team that is active every Thursday when the weather is permitting to be out in the community.
Wonderful. Now, Ms. Aaliyah, how does one, is this all on your website? I mean, or is this done through 911 when they dispatch?
No, dispatch for the PIC team is still done through 911 and 211. However, the homeless outreach team specifically is coordinated by Captain Gabriel Person.
Gotcha.
So the committee puts together the plan in terms of where we will go each week. And then we provide the outreach that way. But that involves probably about 15 or so different service providers, including clergy and other organizations that work directly with the homeless population.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Leslie is going to provide us with some data on PIC calls from last month.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello. In regards to February numbers, the PIC team responded to 736 calls for the month of February. That's PIC alone and including co-responses. Those were the numbers there with that. And all of our updated numbers can be found on our dashboard at the City of Rochester as well.
So, Ms. Leslie, how many staff do you currently, because I know you're beefing up at one point, you were hiring more people. How many people are currently exist on the PIC team?
Right now, Aaliyah, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 23, and we're hiring. We do have, we're in the midst of onboarding some additional staff right now as well.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, okay, great. Are these opportunities, are they available? Are they open competitive, or are they already?
The listing is on the website, and the qualifications are on the website. Right now, there is a listing for the need that we currently have. And our need changes per shift, per hours, and things like that. So we update it depending on our need.
So for our viewers, our listeners out there, there's some job opportunities that are being, if you're in that field of providing a specific service of social services. I'm assuming they have to have some background in that field, I would imagine. They go to cityofrochester.gov, look under jobs, and look for those particular opportunities. Is it listed under recreation or human service? Where would it be?
Our jobs are listed under emergency response social workers. So yeah, that's for the PIC team. And there's other opportunities to work in different departments through the crisis services as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then regarding the homicide response team, we're continuing to respond to the scenes and provide support. We're hoping to launch our youth support group at the end of April. So if anyone wants more information or you have referrals for the support group, as long as it's a young person ages 10 to 17 who has lost a family member to a homicide, they can register to participate, and they can reach us at 428-3632. That's a
see, you just said a mouthful there. So, we know we have our young people who are grappling with this trauma that they're having in their lives, right? And so we're always talking about what can we do to assist them and help them. I'm hearing you say you're creating a support group for those who have lost loved ones from the ages of 10 to what now?
17.
10 to 17, okay. And okay, can you share, I know you already gave the information, but can you share that information with Andre via email maybe, so that we can get that information, disseminate that out to our partners and make sure that we get that, because I think we all probably know someone that may be a referral that we can refer to be a part of this support group. I think that's awesome.
Yep, absolutely. We'll make sure we get that information out. We are also in regards to the tragedy and the death that occurred at the Armory. Some of you may have heard that we are partnering with Ubuntu and some other service providers, mental health service providers, to provide healing circles. We do still have 2 dates left for the healing circles. Those was one date, which will be this Wednesday, March 15th. We will have an in-person session here at 57 St. Paul Street from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's also offered virtually during the same time. And you do have to register in advance for the healing circles. I have the email address for that. It's just Emancipate ROC. So EMANCIPATEROC@gmail.com.
All right.
We encourage anyone in the community who would like to be supported, to have conversation, to get referrals for further mental health counseling and support, so please come out to the circle so that we can all share, be available for one another in a controlled, safe environment and space for those of us who are still struggling and dealing with another community trauma.
So again, people often say, well, Rock Against Gun, what are you guys doing? And I keep trying to tell folks, this information that we're giving to this community now is so powerful and impactful that we understand that there are safe spaces. You said something very critical, that safe spaces that we can go to, and it's hybrid. So, for those who still don't feel like being in large groups, things of that nature, and that's why we're making our meetings hybrid as well, so that we're taking away all of those fears and those barriers of individuals that still have that post-pandemic fear of being in large groups. And I like the fact that you guys are having this meeting hybrid of these healing circles. And I know that traumatic incident at the Armory impacted, this community and this region, because we got people that were from Syracuse, Buffalo, and Rochester, and I know one of the young lady that was here from Rochester is connected even to my church. So it hit home, you know what I mean? So this is very needed. Our community is deeply wounded from that incident. That's very traumatic, and I'm glad to hear that there are yourself, your team, and others are addressing that.
Yeah. And then our final announcement is around our community support counseling team. We just want people to be aware that we do have a domestic violence specialist that serves on that team. So if there's anyone who's looking for information, linkages to providers and support, our team is here, our specialist is here. She can provide information. She can provide accompaniment to court. She can help people navigate the court process, order of protections, and things of that nature. And she can be reached at 428-6630.
Now that have you, Mr. Hall, Captain Mura on the line, I just want you guys to know I'm here with President Melendez as well. Not only do we do this work, but we're also, the part of the body of legislating and how we can assist and help you guys do your work. So I want you always to be mindful of that, and I always ask you this. Do you need anything else? Do you have what you need? How can we be better supportive of the work that you guys are doing? Make sure we know that it's budget time.
It's budget time. That's right.
It's budget time. So, make sure they said the squeaky wheel, tends to get the grease. And so make sure that, you're relaying those needs to us sooner than later, so that we can do all we can to advocate the work, the so needed work that you guys, all of you, are doing. Does anybody have any questions for Miss Aaliyah or Miss Gordon? All right, let's move along. Thank you. Wanda, do you have anything to share with us?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just wanted to, it's been a long time, but I do want to introduce our new serve coordinator, Mr. Kivo Owens, who is on the line, started this month. Rise Up Rochester, since December 2022, we have been providing wraparound services for victims of violence. Last year, we serviced at least 120 families with services, providing emotional and social support through our biweekly support groups for families of homicide victims. We have also increased our staff and still in the process of hiring. We went from a staff of, I think, 8. Now we have a staff of 5 to 12. We're still looking for a social worker, administrative assistant, and a secretary, and a youth assistant. We are also working.
Ms. Ridgway, how does one, those are like 5 positions you just threw out. Right, you threw them out real quick. Now, hold on now, slow down. How does one connect to maybe, see if they're a good fit for one of those jobs?
So the job postings will be posted on our fiduciary agent's website, that's ccsi.com. You can just go on there and apply. If you have any questions, you can call me at 745-6095.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We also with SERVE, community engagement to reduce victimization. We also meet with other organizations in the community every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, and we try to come up with plans and maybe present a case to the group to see if anyone can help out with that family or assist with that family. Our next meeting is tomorrow at 5. If anyone is interested, please join in, and it's led by Kivo Owens. We're also working on a team summit. We weren't going to do it, but we said, you know what, it's so important. One of our young people mentioned something. We had an emergency community meeting. It was just so many people had so many concerns and was calling, and we decided to do a community forum, and we got so much from that forum. And one thing is our youth are really hurting. So we're trying to create an open space for our youth to come to and talk and open up. And that's going to be held, Kivo, is it the 22nd of April at East High School? East High School is giving us the space. We are asking that all community partners will be sending out a letter, hopefully by the end of this week. I would definitely send it to Andre as well to invite you all to come out. It's time for them to be heard and see how we can better help them more.
That's Monday, the 24th.
The 24th. Okay. The 24th.
All right, of April, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Ridgway? All right, Kathy, did you have anything extra? I know we kind of jumped around, but go ahead, Kathy.
I'll go real fast. Just so, Ms. Ridgway, that bill that I mentioned to Pathways to Peace also concerns you. So this is funding through Medicaid for your CVI programs. There may be, I'm wondering if PIC falls under this funding. So I'm going to find out. I'll ask our lawyers at Brady for some clarification on this. But I'll send something out through your guidance, Councilman Lightfoot, as to who you think would benefit. And then second thing, I'm looking for members of the coalition, anybody interested, who would want to work. I've spoken with our friends from Moms Demand, Deb, our leader from Moms Demand, and she's interested in trying to find ways we can all work together. And I'm hoping this might be an example of how the whole coalition could come together for advocating for New York State gun laws. I really have to give a shout out to our New York State legislators. There's big ones that are coming up. Some of them concern business owners who work with the community on gun violence prevention. We have quite a few businesses, I believe, that are doing that. They are going to be targets for legislation in funding resources. So the state legislation, the legislature under Governor Hochul seems to be very interested, as well as our New York State legislators, in really leaving no stone unturned concerning how our legislation, regulations, policy decisions can all work cohesively together to reduce gun violence, to prevent gun violence, to save lives. So there's a lot of legislation that's coming out. I'm wondering if I could figure out a means through Mr. Andre for people to reach out and let me know if they're interested. We're probably going to be approaching these legislators when the legislation is complete and more clarified as to what other considerations they're giving for laws. And that will happen towards the end of April. So the advocacy for the laws with our legislators would take place early May. So if anybody's interested, from law enforcement, from clergy, from the PIC team, from any of these other coalitions, to come together representing the Rochester Coalition Against Gun Violence to our legislators for specific laws that will truly benefit your efforts in the community to prevent gun violence. And again, everyone should be giving a big shout out to our New York State legislators because they're working hard on this. I'll try and put together a summary of the bills. I'll give them to Mr. Andre and he can put them up on the through the Facebook page that we operate. Would that work?
Yes, fine. We do it Facebook. We're also on Twitter and we're also on Instagram. So
okay.
we can share it on all of those platforms that we have. Thank you, Kathy, for your constant advocacy for us and always sharing information and always, that bill is, that's, I didn't know anything about that. That's great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy? Okay, this is the last piece, which is my update. I just want to inform you of a couple of good things that I'm very, very excited about. In my other hat that I wear as a pastor of Prayer House Church of God by Faith on Cumberland Street, I've been working along. Actually, we have done some work with 67 Clergy Precinct out of Brooklyn in the past, Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition. We've partnered with them in the past prior to the pandemic. And if you know, remember Pastor Gil Monrose, who is also the person in charge of the Office of Faith-Based Initiative in New York City. Okay, he's been appointed by the mayor of New York City to be the Office of Faith-Based Initiative, in New York City. He's also a part of what they call Clergy for Safe Cities. Now they are having a summit this coming Wednesday. Andre's going to send it out via email tomorrow. The registration is virtual for any of you who may want to attend that, or if you know clergy who may want to get involved in that as well too. I sent it out to some of my contacts, but it's a summit. Now we're going to be bringing the first Safe Cities Summit, which is a National Clergy for Gun Violence Summit here June 13th. It's going to be at my church on June 13th. It's going to be from 8 to 3:30, 4 o'clock. Save that date. I'm going to be reaching out to members of the coalition. We're looking for people who have been working the space of gun violence. Of course, there's a lot of clergy, the folks who are already working in this space. We're bringing the Attorney General and a lot of the experts regionally across Syracuse, Buffalo, Albany, all throughout the boroughs are coming here to talk about best practices, things that, we all have a conversation, but it's really centered around the clergy. But there are going to be conversations we're going to be having with partners like ourselves, Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition. I'll be reaching out to Wanda, Rise Up, halfway different ones that work in this space. I will have some panel discussions that be part of that. We'll be hearing from the Attorney General and various other experts from New York State that will be coming to this summit that we're going to, it's the first regional one that they're having, and Rochester is going to be the one that's hosting this regional National Clergy Gun Violence Prevention Summit. Okay, and so I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up about it. If you want to get a little bit of the feel of it, the registration for the virtual one they're having this coming Wednesday, we'll be sending that out tomorrow. So you'll be able to register for that event, log on and be able to check out. I'm speaking in the beginning of that conference, and they'll be teasing the conference that's coming in June here in person. It'll be this one in June will be in person only, and that's going to be a very exciting opportunity for us to be able to share best practices. We're not reinventing the wheel, but we're trying to see what can we do, what are we missing, how can we collaborate, how can we work together, how can we see what other communities are doing and just kind of come together. But really it's more faith-based than anything. And so we're very excited about that. And again, Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition is partnering with the National Clergy Against Gun Violence. And these people are connected all over the country with people working within this space. So I wanted to just mention that to you guys, and hopefully by our next meeting, we're also going to be sending you out the information from Captain Mura from the report from Nick Petiti. We're going to be getting that out to you hopefully soon before the next meeting as well. And we hope to have a better update of the gun trace data report for you by our next meeting as well. And we're very excited about that work. So once again, I think the job is to share. This information is on the Rochester City Council YouTube page. Grab that link, share it with individuals in your circles so that they can get this information that was shared tonight. And for a lot of job opportunities were shared tonight. A lot of information about connecting with different services was shared tonight. A lot of advocacy information about things that we can do to kind of work to advocate for these laws that could potentially help organizations that work in this space was also shared tonight. And so we want to share that information so that individuals know how to connect with those resources and become a part of this work. So if you go to the Rochester City Council YouTube page, you will see this meeting there, and you can grab that link and you can share that link. We'll also make sure it gets put on our Facebook page and shared on our Twitter account and other places that we have. So once again, we meet every second Monday. I want to thank former Mayor Lovely Warren. I don't know if you have any words, if you're still with us, if you want to have an opportunity to say anything.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Thank you for the opportunity. This was great information. I just wanted to bring up an event that one of our clients, Air Wellness, is hosting along with the mayor as well as Senator Cooney. It's going to be an expungement event on 4/20. As we know, about 2 years ago, the state legislature had passed legislation, decriminalizing marijuana as well as expunging certain people's record. And so we wanted to make sure that in the city of Rochester, people had information. We're partnering with JPC as well as Law New York. So there will be a number of different attorneys that will be on hand, as well as other individuals that are partnering with us as well. So please look out for additional information for the expungement event that's going to be taking place on April 20th. And we are going to be allowing people to get their fingerprints and get their record for free. And so that's going to be a big help so that we can help them get through the process.
Do we have a date? Do we have a time and a location for that yet, or to be determined?
Yes, it's going to be on, it's going to be from 11 to 6 at Urban Euphoria. So it's going to be 4/20. The date is April 20th. It's going to be from 11 to 6 at Urban Euphoria. And we will be providing information because we definitely need for different community partners to put it out there so that people can come with their records. They can actually go and get their information first.
Wonderful. So please make sure that you get that information over to myself or Andre so that we can push that out to our collaborative partners. We here at Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, we want to make sure that we're very collaborative as to how we how we do our work. All right. So you need to mute, dear Mayor. We can hear
Hello,
you.
ladies. How are you?
All right. So
Sorry.
hold on. We got Council President Melendez.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share with the group that the My Brother's Keeper initiative, Rock MBK, is going to be hosting an event, a Youth Peace Summit. It's going to be on March 25th from 10 to 2:30, MCC downtown campus. I'll make sure I send the flyer as well. But the intention is to really bring youth together, ages 12 to 18, and to listen to our young people about solutions around violence.
So thank you, Mr. President. The point here, ladies and gentlemen, what I really hope that we be a part of this Rock Against Gun Violence Coalition, kind of a portal to making sure that we grab all of these information and we create this calendar. The dates I'm hearing so far, I haven't heard any date that's on top of another date. So that's good. And so, but we need to make sure that we start capturing these dates on a community calendar that we have, so that we can make sure that not only we pushing this information out so that, community knows, but that we can also be supportive of one another in these events, okay? So, and we also want to make sure that in these events, I want to encourage those that are having these events as best as you possibly can. I know everyone either doesn't have the technology because of maybe where they're at or the space that they may be using, but wherever possible, I encourage and offer for consideration to consider making your event hybrid, and when all possible, because that is an added tool. And we do have a lot of sick and shut-in folks and people who can't get out, people who want to be engaged, they want to be involved. And one of the things that came out of the pandemic is these individuals who typically did not engage with the computers and learned. I mean, I got people I got a 93-year-old mother in my church who's zooming, who can zoom better than anybody. You understand what I'm saying? So who's got an Instagram page now? You know what I mean? So these individuals have engaged now with that technology, and they're using it, and they want to continue to use it whenever possible. So whenever you're able to, consider having your meetings as hybrid if you can. That way you can be inclusive to that people who want to do those type of things. Okay, so that's all I have tonight. Does anybody have any questions, comments before we dismiss? All right. If not,
I had a quick
oh,
quick
ahead.
comment.
Go ahead, Andre.
No, I wanted to thank everybody for coming and sharing all of your events and all of your activities and all of your updates. I wanted to make sure that I start to incorporate, like Willie Lightfoot just said, monthly RAGVC community calendar. So again, I just want to reiterate, if any of you have all of the events that you all mentioned, please just send them right to my email. And I'm going to try to coordinate a monthly calendar so that I can share it with you all. And that could be something we continue moving forward, just to have some organization on different events that you all have going on. But again, I just want to thank you guys. And yeah, that's all.
All right. Appreciate everyone. Bid you Godspeed. God bless you. I pray that you all are well until we meet again and see you again. God bless you. Love you. Have a good night. Thank you.